Hello my dear students, welcome back to our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the US Naval Forces, carrying straight on once again from our previous episode, which was unfortunately a bit quiet. It appears the Japanese are rather vacant after being stunned by the loss of a Shokaku a couple episodes previous to this. Very large victory for us, of course, but now it leaves us with the question of where to go and what to do. A little bit philosophical there, I'm sure, if you read into it a little bit, but I'm sure we can keep it nice and simple and keep it to Guadalcanal. So what we're going to do is go to the strategic map and just see what we can do, to be honest. Not a lot to say here. Let's go straight into it today. Alrighty then, so first things first, because we have just loaded into the game, we can see that the nearest submarine is just here, and that would be the one, I believe, we shot down a glen, which was coming from this sort of direction, a northerly direction here. So what we're going to do is, I know some people don't like to see, but we are going to, I think, launch some, what is the distance here? That should just about make it. We're going to launch some, I actually think we'll launch some Dauntlesses. Going to launch our whole flight, because why not? Let's launch all of them at the submarine here with some bombs and see what we can do about that. Hopefully we can get them before it submerges. Otherwise, I'm not too sure. We can just leave it. It's not a problem. It is rather a way out, and we're not going to send anything up there anytime soon. It is, of course, at the start of the morning on the 12th of September 1942, day 37 of our operational time here. And of course we can see actually a submarine here, which I've just noticed. Certainly wants to do something about that. We do have a couple destroyers in this task force here, but I do want to make sure we get rid of this as quickly as possible. Going to take some bow fighters with some bombs, and they're going to go over here, and they can perhaps strafe it if it decides not to submerge after bombing it. So let's go in for that. We are, of course, going to scout around as usual with some bow fighters. We're going to go rather aggressive, go straight up through a ball and out, just to see if there's anything about over there. Going to do pretty much the same with this group. Just over here like that, and do a small patrol over there, because I'm pretty sure there's nothing out here unless there are perhaps a single oiler or even a couple destroyers looking out there. Nothing too much of a threat in that regard. Otherwise, launching the usual suspects as scouts over here. Going to launch some out here, trying to avoid the radar range over here, but that should be absolutely fine. Doesn't matter either way. If they do get intercepted, we can launch some Wildcats off of the nearby Wasp. We are sending the Bogue back to reinforce its air armament, because we do only have 6 Wildcats available. I would like a full stock of those if possible. So that'll be out of action for a few days, but that's not a problem there. We do, of course, have the Wasp and now a level 3 airfield on Guadalcanal to work with. So that should be absolutely fine. I think we're in a good position after sinking the Shokaku and driving off the Nagato that we can leave the Bogue to do that over the next few days. Our task force is here idling around, thinking about what to do. This one going back to the New Hebrides just to pick up some supplies and such. Should be absolutely fine there. We are waiting for this supply convoy. It's going to take around 86 hours to get to Guadalcanal to actually reinforce the supplies there. Otherwise, just scouting around again, and we should be absolutely fine there. So I will see you in a second. Alrighty then, so our bow fighters have come into contact with the submarine, which doesn't appear to be trying to submerge. We are going to try and drop down to a lower altitude, of course. We were trying to engage a glen, which it launched off, because we did not actually spot the submarine initially. But now that we have, it is certainly the more important target. A scout is useless without someone to report back to, of course. So going straight over for that submarine. In fact, we are going to increase our speed just to make sure we get there before it does decide to submerge. Doesn't appear to be the case at the moment, so we are going to tell everyone to attack that. Just their lovely stuff. Just going to double check that is going through. Excellent stuff. We're at a decent altitude, we're on line ahead. But are we on a decent line itself? It should be just about okay there. Let's see how this goes. Should be alright there. All dropping. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. That's 4 bomb hits and actually 1 dud, which is rather annoying. But not a problem. That should absolutely wreck the submarine there. We've got to circle around. Try and keep in contact and wait around, but of course we're not going to see it if it's underwater. Just going to wait, use it to mark the position, and see if we hear the victory bell there. In fact, we do. Lovely stuff. That is 1 more submarine Going to the depths there, voluntarily submerging for us there at the end. And that is a little victory. Our supply convoy is that much safer. And just double checking exactly what we got. So that was a Type B submarine. So if memory serves, we were expecting there to be a total of, I think, 4 or so operational subs of that class. Could very much be wrong there. We only have 1 Type A left, which is lovely stuff. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3 more. 4 of those left. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I can't believe we've sunk so many. It really doesn't feel like we've sunk that many submarines at all, but I believe that is, of course, the majority of our battles, which is excellent stuff. It means we've defended very, very well. We have lost sight of this submarine over here, so we're going to have to wait for the Dauntlesses to go over and see if they can spot that in the meantime. I'm going to use the rest of the bow fighters' endurance and fuel to scout out anything over here. So let's keep going and have a look. Alrighty then, so we have actually a very interesting development here. This is the Ubuddy. This has been sighted in the Solomon Sea by some boat fighters coming from Milne Bay, I believe. We're just going to double check the availability of the Ubuddy because I do believe there is only the one. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it is only the one, and we have seen that in previous engagements. We've seen it, I believe, escorting a carrier force, perhaps, I believe, the Shokaku, if I was not mistaken. So they may well have split off that group. We do have an escorting, that appears to be a Minakaze over there. But interesting stuff that we're over here. It's just these 2 ships. We are, of course, going to go down to hit that. Let's decide exactly what course to go for. I believe the Ubuddy is primarily a light anti-air cruiser, so let's double check its AA range. Okay, so it is a small blind spot perhaps on the rear. It is less intense on the rear and the bow, as expected really. So we are going to line ahead as we have done previously with the submarine and try that. Let's do that, and we're going to go in, I think, how are we positioned? Like this. Go in, like that. Keep going. Full speed while we get in. I'll see you when we're in range. And that would be about now. So we are 90 meters above sea level. This should be absolutely fine to drop it onto the target from here. Looking very nice, and their range is rather short, so it should be very easy attack. Let's tell them to actually attack before we forget. That would be rather useful, wouldn't it? I'm not entirely liking how they spread out their position here, but hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah, not all of them going to hit there because of the spread at the end there. And in fact, just the one. Lovely stuff. Maybe it'll bounce over to the destroyer, but you never know. Yeah, it got the distance, but of course it did change course there. So that's rather unfortunate. We're not going to bother strafing that. We are just going to retreat out. I don't want to lose any bow fighters to just that. We are again going to use the rest of our fuel here to scout around, I think, this sort of area, and then we can return to base. Rather unfortunate there, but we can hit that again in the future if we fancy. In fact, what do we have that could possibly hit that? We could try and get some Catalinas to torpedo it. I think that'd be quite an interesting little decision there. We haven't used any torpedo bombs or torpedo attacks for quite a while, so let's do that, shall we? Well, it's a very interesting development here. We're actually seeing a loss of fighters, and this would appear to be perhaps a Jake coming from the easterly direction here. We haven't, of course, spotted what is over there, but the amount of fighters would suggest another carrier, and the Jake would suggest, of course, an escorting task force. So we are going to launch some planes over there, some Wildcats from Guadalcanal, Kingfisher from Reno Island, and a Duck. Just to go from this particular position here, we can, of course, launch some more from the Wasp. But that's looking like they're actually going to come over with some more Bessies, perhaps, and some, I believe, some Nels or Mavises. So we shall have a look at that. We're going to launch some Wildcats straight away to intercept them, of course, before they get into us. That would be a great idea there. So I'll come back with you on that. Otherwise, just sunk 2 Wencho Maru supply ships in this sort of area here, and we have landed back again, someone trying to tail us on the way back home from that. So wait for them to leave before we launch any more planes in this area. Otherwise, not a huge amount going on, I'm afraid. So we'll see what happens in this area here, and quite likely defend ourselves from this incoming flight here. Alright then, so the flight coming in to start with is just 1 Jake and 1 Emily so far. We have, of course, far too many numbers to deal with this, so they're going to make a meal out of it, of course. Hopefully we'll be able to get this in one go. No, not at all, not at all. Why would we? It appears they have all changed their targets at the last second there. Not entirely sure why that is at all. Even the most simple tasks, you know, this, I do not know what is wrong with this. If anyone else is having this issue, please let me know. I hope it's not just me. I'm sure you are, but I want to share the pain somehow, please. We're going to work with can't increase the speed here. That's okay, there's nothing for them to target. It is very strange that only sending the one plane at a time here. Perhaps there's more out here, and these are broken off from a formation perhaps. We have finally got rid of the Jake. Let's try and get the Emily. I'm going to get the 11 and 12 to form up together, and they are actually going to scout around to the south here. And of course we can form up some more people now that we've got rid of the Emily, and scout out for something else perhaps. It's very strange. I don't believe that is the full group here. So we're going to scout around, and I'll leave you with that. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't find any more Emilys or Jakes. It does appear that it was just the one of each, and it appears so far we only have the one Mavis coming as well. This is the only thing we spotted on the strategic map, and of course the only thing that's been spotted in the tactical view as well. So this should go down rather easy. In fact, there we go. Rather sad there. Shocked, of course, from that might actually be something to do with the fact that we have shot down a lot recently and they need to restock, but I've not come across that problem before. I do think that the AI does fully replenish their planes over each passing day, but you never know, you never know. Sometimes it might follow the rules of the game, sometimes it might not. We have launched some air cobras to cover our cruisers. We saw all of the planes scouting out, so hopefully they'll get there in time to cover them. Otherwise we can send these Wildcats out to have a look as well. Okay, so we have, of course, been intercepted by a flight of Jakes over here. This would suggest perhaps, I would think a Tonne, but there's quite a lot of Jakes, so they may well be launched from an island and just taken a very strange route to us. I'm just going to source out our orders very quickly, because they are all automatically on the same plane as they do to start with. Not a problem there, we just haven't microed that yet, as of yet. Going to get everyone on one plane if possible. That would be lovely stuff, as we like to do. I'll get back to you once I have done that, which is now. So we have done all of our orders. Hopefully they don't fluff them. We are going a little bit strangely to them. This could certainly attack the leading group itself, but it's not a problem. Going straight in should not be a problem, and if we do miss with any of these, we do have a lot of flak coming off as well, but not a problem there. The one pass coming through for us finally. Shall we get the same here? Absolutely brilliant stuff. We did miss one just there, but it appears that our Air Cobra here is lagging behind a little bit, and not a problem at all for him. So just this last group here, lovely, lovely stuff. Oh, it's so good to have, did miss that one actually, so good to have such great air power around Guadalcanal now. So useful. But I am wondering where these are coming from. We do have one last group over here. Actually, I was lying previously. Let's just change some orders round. We did not spot these to start with. Let's go like this, shall we? You can go in for the same one, and I think we'll be okay there. Lovely stuff. The doom is coming. It's coming in the form of P-39s. Not something we can say very often. Letting us down a little bit previously, but they're like that. They did just manage to not sink that very swiftly there, but this is finally going down. And we'll look back on the strategic map to see what's going on. So we have been spotted by some sort of scout over here. I am bringing the Wildcats back to look at that, but it is of course more prudent to launch a couple Wildcats. We're going to launch 4 just in case there's something else out there. To take on that scout, make sure it doesn't get back home. These Air Cobras, I think, are going to stay over the cruiser task force, as either these come in or retreat. The Wildcats can perhaps look at that if they manage to scout out. In fact, I think what we're going to do is try and follow them with our Wildcats and see where they go back to. So I'll catch you back with that in just a second. Okay, so we have been caught again on our cruiser task force by some air contact. It does appear to be roofs. Just 4 of them so far. Lucky we did keep the Air Cobras in range. I think that's probably a good idea there. It does make me wonder what's about though. We're going to have to look over the escort carrier task forces that the Japanese can field there to see what might be carrying these, along with some Jakes, because they're not coming from an angle where they should be launched from an airfield at all. They're definitely launched from some sort of carrier, which is rather strange to have them out here. So the fact that they evaded us, our radars and such, is rather strange. We have been scouting constantly, but not a problem. Not a problem. Keeps us on our toes. Are only a few the one roof left now. The scout, I noticed, we did shoot it down by the Wasp, and that turned out to be a Glen launched from a submarine. So we must be expecting something very close. Perhaps not the one from the north. There's something from the southwest, I believe, from that position. So we're going to have to keep an eye out to perhaps scout around a little bit more and hope we'll be okay. Move our Wasp, I think, back a little closer to Guadalcanal, I think would be a good idea there. But we're having a bit of trouble with this roof, aren't we? He's evading just a little bit too well, despite his float attached. If we give him much more time, he will shoot us down, but not a problem there. We have got rid of it. Lovely stuff. We're that much safer once again. Retreat out, I think. 4 out of 4. Lovely stuff. Do see another flight coming in. We did have that pop up over here. That's not going to leave now, is it? So I may just reload and get rid of that. And there we go, easy as that. So our orders have still persisted through. Lovely stuff. What we're going to do then is launch some more aircraft from Guadalcanal. What do we want to launch? We'll launch some Mitchells, actually, and we'll launch them with something that gives them some endurance. Perhaps not torpedoes. I will go with the 2,000 pound bomb. Not too bad there. A 1,000 kilometer range is lovely. We're going to actually go in this sort of direction over here. Not too fancy there. Just lovely stuff to cover this general area. I do think there must be something out of there. And of course there'll be something out here as well, but we are having a look. Gonna have a quick look, see which way these aircraft go to see if we can tail them. I'll see you with their reports in a second. So there is some sort of carrier outside Guadalcanal. Shall we pause and take a look? Not the biggest fleet here, mostly cargoes by the looks of it. So they're definitely going to look in. Let's look at a foot attacker over there, battleship of some sort, a Congo. Very interesting stuff. Okay. May bring back the Mitchells, actually, from their mission. And this is another Chitose. That would be where the roofs and such have been coming from. Okay. I wish I'd launched these Wildcats with some sort of armament to hit these now. So there's a Mogami over here. Interesting stuff. So what do we have, actually? Congo, Mogami, foot attacker. Actually, no, that is an Alba. Okay, interesting. You can tell it's an Alba rather than a foot attacker because of how the smokestacks are aligned, and the massive giveaway is the board on the back here with the catapult launcher. Otherwise, just some minor cargo ships. We do, of course, have some sort of destroyer escort. This appears to be an Akatsuki there, a more modern Fubiki for those that don't know. With some minor adjustments, and this is indeed a Fubiki. You can tell the difference because the forward smokestack, the forward funnel, is in fact thinner on the Akatsuki than the Fubiki. We have a third destroyer over here, and this appears to be, I believe, perhaps a Kagero or Yugamo of some sort. Maybe a Shiratsu if we're thinking spicy. So interesting stuff. Yeah, let's just revise exactly what the Chitose can carry. It is mostly roofs, so let's go to, that's light cruiser, you fool. Going to CVL Chitose. There are 2 in class, so this will be the last one, the Chiyoda. Yeah, so that's where all the Jakes were coming from. 12 possible Jakes off of that, and 9 roofs. We have sunk most of those today, so actually a very auspicious time to strike it. So let's go back and see what we can do about that. The Mitchells, actually, it is over here. Let's mark that very quickly. Like that. So what is the range over there? We could still make that in the same flight, actually. We have 930 kilometers left. So let's have a look around there. We keep the Wildcats in the area, perhaps to keep vision on that, actually. They do not have much fuel left, though. So what we're going to do is tell these Wildcats to return to base on the Wasp. how we could launch some Avengers with the Mitchells. That would be lovely stuff. What was the range again? Remind me. Just about 400. Let's check the endurance of Avengers. 466. We could certainly do that. It'd be more reliable to sink the Congo perhaps than the Dauntlesses would be. But we can of course launch both. And I think that would be a rather prudent idea, don't you? So let's launch some Dauntlesses. They can go with the Mitchells. The Dauntlesses can attack the Chitose, and I believe the Mitchells can go... How many do we have? It was 6, I believe. So let's go for the Congo with that. Go straight over there. Wildcats to support. So let's tell the Air Cobras to refuel, actually. If we get over there, lovely stuff. And hopefully they'll be able to go back out to help us if there are any roofs in the area. So I'll get you back with the plan of action. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a bit of a pickle now. We lost sight of the Congo and Chitose task force, unfortunately, even though we sent extensive scouts over the area where we marked with fighters and bombers and some float planes. No sign of it. It's just disappeared, unfortunately. So we didn't manage to hit that. But in the Straits of Guadalcanal, just low from the Shortland Islands, we have sighted yet another CV, escorted by yet another Nagato, and this appears to be a Zuiho, I believe, or Ryuho. Let's double check on here, shall we? Once again, it is not, might be Taiyo actually, could very well be a Taiyo. Let's have a look, or a Zuiho, certainly not Ryuho. Very interesting stuff here. Certainly not Hosho or Kitsumaru, so it is quite likely interesting stuff. So this is quite dangerous. We'll have lots of Kates and Vals and of course Zeros available. We do have Wildcats overhead just to protect our Dauntlesses, which we launched blindly at this carrier. So we'll bring the Wildcats over, of course, to have a look at that and see if we can direct some AA overhead over there. While the Dauntlesses get into position to hit the Taiyo over here. We're going to target that, of course. That was the number 1, I believe. Lovely stuff. Let's get everyone on there. And what we're going to do is, of course, a line ahead from the bow to stern. Actually, bow to stern probably not be the best of ideas. What is actually covering it? It is the Nagato and a destroyer ahead. Probably easier to go around like that because that's where we're facing at the moment. That's just what we're closest to. So I will set up and get into that position, I think. Okay, so just getting into a decent position with our first group of Dauntlesses here. We are going to tell them to turn just a tad because our course is just a tad off. Our speed is very nice though. We're looking at a decent position here. The low visibility of the nighttime hours helping us a hell of a lot here. And it does look like the AA so far is going over to the Wildcats we sent off. I think it's a good idea to tell this lot to attack from here. And we're finally getting some AA opening up on us over here, but it shall be too late. We're going to redirect this group as well, just to make sure they have a very nice line over there, and that is looking rather nice actually from here. So we're going to tell them to attack as well, and this lot can be told to attack as well. Let's go in and watch this, shall we? Alrighty then, so that is that attack over. Rather successful indeed, but we are going to have to get out an emergency retreat. Some zeros did turn up in the end, chasing our Dauntlesses off. They did down 2 or 3, I believe. We've lost a total of 9 aircraft. That is mostly Wildcats, though. I can live with that at the moment. We have sunk the carrier over here. We should do a posthumous identification of that once we get to the strategic map. We did of course sink a Arataramaru, and I forget the name of this cargo ship, but we have of course sunk that as well after strafing it. It has been scuttled, so that is a lovely 4 command points for us. But we do of course have now the problem of the time of day, and that is because we are at night time, and if we look at the Wasp, we are not allowed to launch any more aircraft, and that is coming straight to Guadalcanal. So we're going to have to just retreat, unfortunately. Our task force here certainly not up to the job of sinking a Nagato, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to retreat out of there and hope for the best. The Mariners, unfortunately, with 0 fuel, and these Dauntlesses are not going to make it, so they are just... yeah, they're certainly not going to make it there. That is rather unfortunate. We do have the Geisa over here, which can double check to see if they are going to retreat or not, which would be rather useful. Let's see if we can reconnoitre that. Let's have a look at exactly what carrier we did sink, whether it was a Taiyo or Zuiho. It was in fact a Taiyo, and that is actually, I believe, the one I would prefer to sink. I think that had a greater number of planes on it. So let's double check that. The Zuiho over here with... okay, so the Taiyo actually had less. It doesn't have any vowels, but it certainly had more Kates and more zeros on board, which are actually what I am more scared of. So that's absolutely brilliant. How many is that in the series? There are 3. We did sink the Taiyo. We have Unyo and Chuyo left. That is rather nice to get rid of that. We do of course have the Chitose Onishin out here, which is rather a bother, but we'll have a look at that in the future. I think we will get one more engagement in, and I think that'll be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay everyone, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We were very lucky that the Nagato task force here did not push very far at all over the course of the night. So it is now the earliest hours of the day. We have launched 10 Avengers from the Wasp, Dauntlesses from Gorokuna and the Wasp. They are making their way there. I believe these are from the Wasp, and we have launched Mitchells from Guadalcanal as well. Most of these planes are going to be here to hit the Nagato. I am very confident that our surface task force can take on this task force if we get rid of the Nagato, if it does indeed come to that. We will of course try to hit things with our planes beforehand, because that is exactly what they're for. So before we go in with our torpedo bombers, we are going to go in with our dive and level bombers, and that is exactly what I'm planning to do here. Let's go to a line ahead with our Mitchells. We have so many Mitchells. We have 6 in total, all of them with 2 1.6 thousand pound armor piercing bombs, and that would be absolutely devastating if they do hit. We're going to keep our Avengers out of the fight for now. Like I say, we're going to hit them with bombs first. We're going to come up with our Dauntlesses to start with. They're all going to line ahead. Absolutely the way to go here. And we're going to go from bow to stern and absolutely wreck that Nagato, hopefully. Let's tell everyone here to target it. Let's not get too narrow in our sights just yet. So let's go straight over like that, and we can adjust our courses as we need to. We are, like I say, going to make sure the Avengers stay out of the fight just for now, but they are going to dive down to striking altitude, so they're ready when the time comes. Let's get them all like that, as I say now. And we're going to form this group into one large one, just so we have that there, one larger group. Excellent stuff. And they can dive down as well and stay out of the fight rather easily. I'll get you back when we are in range, I think. Alrighty then, so our bombers are coming into range right now. Just double checking the visibility. It is only 38%, which is absolutely ideal for us. We're going to tell the Mitchells to attack right now. And I think we're going to get these, we're going to change the course of these Dauntlesses just a tad. We're going to zoom in a little bit just here. So bring them in just a tad and get them like that, I think. I'm going to check the courses of all of our other Dauntlesses. These ones aren't looking so bad. Just going to adjust a tad over here. Lovely stuff. And the other Dauntlesses, I believe, yeah, they're a tad off, aren't they? Let's just tell them to move in a little bit. Try and go over like that. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. In fact, I'm just going to tell... I'm not going to tell them all to attack just yet. In fact, I'm going to tell them to attack now, just to make things a tad easier for us. Lovely stuff there, and that is all of them, I do believe. Yeah, that is indeed. Don't want any oversights this time, thank you very much. We want this to go swimmingly. Oh, what a sight to behold. Look at that. I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy it. Oh, that was so disappointing that the Mitchell's bombs all completely missed there. That is the worst situation there for us, but luckily we do have the Avengers here to finish the job. I'm going to send 2 Avenger groups in right now and keep some in reserve. So we're going to compress some time a tad, bring these up just a bit quicker. Which group is this over here? So that's the top, okay, the 2 reds, lovely stuff. Going to make sure these Avengers stay in over here, just in contact, just to get a bit closer like that. Let's compress time and go in once again. Hopefully finish this off with 0 duds. What have we spotted? Just re-establishing contact, not a problem there at all. Let's make sure we get a decent approach with these on. Lovely stuff. Let's go in like that. And go in over here with this group as well. We're going to have to watch the speed of these Avengers to make sure they do get torpedoes off rather well. Should be okay though. Should be okay. Just need to make sure these do come in once again, because the Nagato is being rather tricky here. rather tricky. We're actually going to come up like this with this group. And this group is going to increase its speed once again to help with that. Actually, I am going to make this turn round and come out like this, because we will be flying through all of their AA if we go to the starboard side of the Nagato. Not a problem there. If it takes time, it takes time. Just needs to be a bit patient. And that is lovely. It looks like we're on the same course there with each other. That is brilliant stuff. Just going to tell them to come out a little bit more and decrease their speed. And that would be brilliant stuff. There we go. Just a bit to make sure they come off there. Lovely stuff. Excellent. Let's tell this lot to come out just a tad more as well, like that. Oh, hopefully we're able to get stuff off. But American dud chance once again. Please no. Okay, so this is actually looking like a very nice position to attack from. Going to let this group give a little bit more lead there. And come in from a flatter broadside angle, and that is looking very nice. Let's make sure they are actually turning down their speed a tad to make sure they do not bounce out or explode on the surface of the water there. We should be just fine there. Lovely stuff. Just got to pray they don't get a lucky flak shot off now. Or make sure the lead is nice. Well, I'm getting very frustrated now. So many duds once again. If our Mitchell bombs had hit, this Nagato would be sunk, but only reporting as moderate damage and minor flooding. This group had better do the job. These had better all hit and had better not be duds. I am getting rather frustrated. How many times have we tried sinking this Nagato? Surely they can't all be the same, of course. There are at least 2 Nagatos in this series, I believe. But it's just so... Trolling is so hard. What is wrong with these ships? Just go down, please. But not to worry, not to worry. I'm sure this will do the job. But the lead is perhaps a tad too much here. We shall see. We have dropped. We're going to tell them to increase the altitude and get out straight away then. Just turn around. Thank you very much. Increase your speed. We did hit the Fubuki with a stray torpedo that we missed. And our Avenger's gone down again. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. But these are all on a good line. They should all hit at least. But will they be duds? That is the question. Hold your breath and hope, ladies and gentlemen. There's one. Oh, no. Oh, and this one just sailed under. No. No. Oh, it was 2 duds. No, no. That is so unfortunate. I'm really fucking frustrated with this game now. That's not going to go down to flooding either. Oh, no. No. This game, please. Please go my way. Not to worry. Not to worry. We can come back later. It is now time to retreat, though. Ah, that's so sad. After everything we sent at it as well. Deary me. Deary, deary me. But what can you do, eh? What can you do? What did we actually lose there? We lost 1 Mitchell and we lost, I think, 6. Jesus Christ, 6 Avengers. That is disgusting. That leaves us with only 4. But unfortunately, on that bombshell and that dud, that is it for today, folks. That is all we have time for. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode just as much as I have, and I hope you've been just as frustrated as I have as well. If those Mitchell bombs hit, it would be such a different story. But oh well, can't have everything. It's quite likely our fault for misaligning them, of course. But I've been the Edified Gamer, and I hope all your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.